What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel, Captain Chad. I'm coming at you live and direct from Turkey. You guys want to have a little geese? So I just felt a little incomplete not having any content to put out, and I don't know that I'm going to be able to post this from my phone because, like I was just telling my wife inside our little cabin here, I've never posted any content long form from my phone. I've always done it from my computer. So I'm going to see if I can do that because I've been pretty consistent lately. I've been working really hard, making sure to at least have something put out for you guys so that we can finally do something with this YouTube channel, making sure that we're providing value and stuff like that. But I wanted to make this particular video and talk about the interesting topic of like street dogs, because yesterday, and like homeless people with dogs. It's an interesting topic. I think it's extremely nuanced, and there's a couple of things I want to go over in this video. But first, if you guys haven't subscribed to the channel yet and you're watching this video, it would mean a lot if you did that, and it would mean even more for you to leave a thumbs up on the video so we can get it out to as many people as possible. But I just thought this was an interesting topic to bring up, considering yesterday, today we're in Turkey, yesterday we were in Greece, and not Athens. We actually stopped at the first port, which was, I'm completely lost for the name of the city that we were at actually, but we got off and just saw a bunch of history, and we're walking the streets in this particular city in Greece. Absolutely beautiful, great experience. A little hot, to be honest with you. I was sweating my balls off and kind of lost interest in what we were doing as a result of that. But anyway, aside from all the historical content that we were consuming, it was interesting to see some of the cats and the dogs, just street cats and street dogs. And some would look at that and be like, oh, that sucks, kind of, this looks, the dog needs a home. And, and other people would look at it like, wow, kind of seems like that dog is living its best life. And, it's an interesting topic because, you've got people in America that have access to all the money and all the big houses and all these things, but yet they have dogs that are extremely unbalanced and misbehave and reactive and aggressive and all these problems. But I don't want to sit here and cast the blame on that altogether, because going back to the fact that this is a nuanced topic, just on sheer volume, America has so many people and so many dogs. So the chance for dogs with behavioral issues that are just genetically destroyed is a lot higher. And I was thinking about this topic amongst others. The chances for this type of behavior and these types of issues and problems are much higher as a result of volume. There's just more in America, okay? And so with that being said, it just seems like usually the dogs that you see on the street that are well socialized and just don't bat an eye at the fact that there's like dozens and dozens of freaking tourists walking by, it seems like nothing affects them. While somebody in America that has access to all the things, and the dogs have all the things and all the love and all the toys, these dogs are experiencing all sorts of behavioral issues. So it's interesting to think about it in that way. Like, which is the happier dog? The dog that doesn't have a pot to piss in, or the dog that has everything but is extremely unbalanced as a result of mismanagement. And again, I'm not throwing stones at these people. I think most times people just don't really understand what it means or what entails, producing a good relationship with their dogs, or even to take it a step further, just producing a balanced dog. I think ultimately, if people had a little bit better of an idea of what that entailed, there wouldn't be as many behavioral issues with pet dogs in America. And I think ultimately it comes down to Americans not really doing enough research and understanding what it takes to produce these things. I think a lot of American pet owners have like a preconceived notion of what it's going to be like, or what it's supposed to be like to have a dog, and they soon find out that they fucked up. And that's where a lot of my clients come into play. They're like, yeah, I went and adopted this dog, or yeah, I got this dog from so-and-so, and holy shit, it's like, what? It like comes out of left field for a lot of people, and I really tip my hat to people that identify these issues and are looking to change. And you know, another interesting topic is, or another interesting thought that I had is, you know, if I move to Greece or if I move to Germany or, you know, some of these other countries where dog trainers aren't really in as much of a demand, I wouldn't have like the success that I do in America, because the demand for teaching people how to become leaders and, you know, pressing the metaphorical rewind button on a lot of behavioral problems wouldn't really be there. And so I'm grateful for that. Yeah, so which dog has it better? You know, I think it depends. You know, some of these street dogs out here look pretty banged up. I'm not going to lie. You know what I mean? So banged up, living on the streets, but balanced, no behavioral issues, versus behavioral issues but loved and cared for and fed, and you know, so there's a lot of nuances that go into it. So, but I think generally speaking, the happier dog could potentially be the dog on the street with no owner. The more fulfilled dog, the more balanced dog, the more experienced dog. I think you could make an argument for the street dog being that, versus the pent-up dog, the unfulfilled dog, the overloved dog. And I know some of you guys are like, overloved? What does that even mean? That means a dog that doesn't have any sort of like guidelines about life. Overloved, all love, all love, all love. No earned affection, just affection. No curriculum involved in the relationship. It's just do what you want. That dog is confused. That dog makes way too many choices. The dog doesn't have anybody to turn to. No leadership, no guidance, no experience. You know, people get a dog and they become lawn ornaments. It's like, what are you going to do when you need to take the dog somewhere? Are you going to expect them to be good old, well-behaved patrons? That's just not how this works. An inexperienced dog that hasn't seen anything is going to be wildly curious. And these dogs you see on the street, you don't seem to be all that curious anymore because they done seen it all. Some of them have probably had people at some point. Maybe they do. Maybe, I don't know. It's just, I saw one with a collar on yesterday. You know, I'll even play the video for you. Walked right by. Seemed like an older fella. And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, he looks a little banged up, but he's also probably 13 years old, so he's made it this far somehow. You know what I mean? Somebody in the comments of my recent post was like, oh yeah, well, I've been to this side of Greece and I've seen a dog get hit by a car. That's obviously going to be a little bit more of a risk. You got street dogs, and there's people out here drive like lunatics. I mean, no offense to any of my Greek, you know, followers, but man, people out here drive. So yes, that's obviously a danger, you know, but we're not really talking about that. We're talking about like the fulfilled dog, the dog that isn't anxious, the dog that doesn't live in like hell, you know, in its mind, confused and overstimulated, and, you know, the balanced dog. Which dog has it better? You guys let me know. What do you guys think? You know, if we're talking about America at the same time, it's like homeless people with dogs. Them homeless dogs, man, they seem to have it pretty good if we're talking about like what their mind state is. They may not always have access to food. They may not always have access to shelter. But from a mental aspect, they seem pretty chill. And I mean, generally speaking, pretty fulfilled, pretty calm, pretty well behaved, you know? And it's like, it's a homeless dude with no money, no home. You know, and I'm over here making thousands of dollars teaching people how to get to that point. You know what I mean? The difference is those people are technically, those homeless people, they're putting in work every single day. Meanwhile, you got the busy person making all these millions of dollars or all this money that isn't putting in any time because they're out here making money. You know what I mean? So you could send me the dog to training and we're going to give you a great head start. But at the end of the day, after training, you're the only one that can continue on and build and forge the relationship, because it's just a recipe that we're selling. In my opinion, all the great dog trainers all over social media are saying and preaching the same exact shit. The only difference is people are putting it differently, finding more creative ways to explain how to be the leader that your dog needs. You know, I'm a little more rough around the edges, I think, in reference to explaining things, but some people appreciate that. Very simple-minded explanations, very practical explanations. How are we going to get this done? Well, let me explain that to you in a way that you understand. I'm not trying to confuse you with all these fancy operant conditioning, classical conditioning, 4 steps to the quadrant, positive, negative, negative. You know, not gonna really necessarily go there, even though those explanations they make sense and they're quite nice to hear. It's just not particularly my style. I feel like my clients forget that shit. So it's just like, hey, this is how I do it. This is how we did it. This is how we're gonna keep doing it. Does that make sense? Let me take a little sip of my coffee before it gets too cold. I hope the audio on this video is working out. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the video and let me know what you guys think in the chat, man. Which is the happier dog? Is the answer that simple? Or do you agree along the lines of, you know, the nuanced, it could depend. I love you guys. Thank you for watching my content. It means a lot to me. Captain Turkey out.